It's just one more weekend of summer left, and I haven't even been to the beach yet. I was going to start this video a little further away from here, but there's a whole lot of business going on here. I wanted everybody to see this thing. Charles has made a comment that there's not a lot of election stuff out. There's something interesting going on with this guy just a moment ago. Luckily avoided any kind of confrontation. He was using the subway stop as a beer opener. But actually, something really weird just happened. So the train just pulled in, and I don't know if people who maybe haven't been to New York haven't experienced this, but there's this like giant compression of air that happens inside the subway tunnel when the train goes in and out. And I was standing up there just sort of looking at that guy opening his beer, and this blast of air came out of the subway. Whoa, there goes a Ferrari. Can people see that? Like a 1960s Ferrari. This blast of air comes out of the subway, and it was the most horrendous stench of urine you could possibly imagine. So I just wanted to show people here, we got a restaurant that was open not that long ago. The Zagara Wine Bar appears totally closed. And this bagel cafe, I guess maybe they're not open at 7 o'clock at night, but that seems odd that that would be closed. Hama, the Japanese restaurant across the street, that place does a lot of takeout business. I'm a little surprised they're not open on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday night here, one of the last of the summer. Next week is the last weekend of summer. We see that the Copper still is doing all right, pretty busy. That's a relatively new restaurant. But then here across the street, literally every single business on the block here from on 7th Avenue from 21st to 22nd is out. They're all gone. So that's cause for concern. A lot of people send me stuff throughout the day. Somebody sent me a thing, I believe this is fake news, that some article from the Toronto something or other claiming that the CEO of Netflix had been arrested. I think a lot of people are upset about this movie Cuties on Netflix that really seems to be having some surprising images of very young girls in a kind of a hip-hop dance troupe sexualizing the young girls, and then I don't know, Netflix had a bunch of dumb stuff to say about it, but when somebody sent me that article about Reed Hastings, you got to make sure you look into this stuff before you share it around. I know, people see something that seems to fit, and there's a tendency to believe it, but first thing I did was I Googled that and found nobody else reporting on it. If the FBI arrests somebody, it's going to be, known. And there is some use for mainstream news in that you can kind of like start to, if nobody else is reporting on it, that's your first hint that perhaps there's a problem. But that wasn't what I really wanted to talk about today. It was such a beautiful day today. I thought it would be a nice opportunity perhaps to capture a New York sunset. Fall in the Northeast. What is this lady doing? You can't just stop your car in the middle of this street in Manhattan. Anyway, fall in New York is absolutely beautiful. This time of year, still summer technically, until the 22nd. I apologize, everybody. I forgot to bring another phone to check on comments and stuff like that. But it's just so beautiful. Today was so perfect. Not hot, not humid, sunny, crisp. There's going to be a beautiful sunset tonight. And, restaurants. It comes back to that question of restaurants. We've been hearing a lot of input. There was an open letter from a restaurant owner talking about the bigger picture. I think de Blasio said something about restaurants are not a necessity, it's a luxury, and it's for, wealthier people or whatever. That is such a narrow-minded, frankly, stupid attitude, because they employ people. I mean, small businesses and restaurants and hair salons. It was interesting that Nancy Pelosi's hair salon was in the news, and I've spoken a lot about my friend's hair salon. I thought about it. That's an industry that is really mostly dominated mostly dominated by small, independently owned businesses. I mean, there's really no, or at least I'm not aware of, any kind of like Starbucks of the hair. I guess Supercuts and stuff like that is a corporate-owned barber shop, but most of them, it seems to me, are independently owned businesses, and they're going to have real serious problems staying in business after this. I mean, I don't even know what's after. We're in this thing. It's like, is there an after? Yesterday was the 19 years since 9/11. I posted a picture on Twitter. I don't know if people got to see it. Got a lot of strange feelings about seeing the 9/11 lights. Obviously, it's a horribly sad thing to recall, but we can never forget, of course. And we see more smashing of Bank of America there. See what's going on 21st Street here. There's a fair amount of restaurants along here. But yeah, so as we transition from summer to fall, what's going to happen is it's going to cool off real quickly. Haven't had to run the air conditioner for the past few days, which is nice, the window open. But what's going to happen is the temperature is going to drop. And before you know it, it's going to be too cold out here for restaurants to have these outdoor dining cubicles. And we've heard a lot of weird stuff from Mayor de Blasio and Governor Andrew Cuomo, talking about 25% occupancy, 50% occupancy. It's really, we've spoken about it so many times, but this article in Zero Hedge that had the open letter from the restaurateur was talking about all the peripheral damage of even just one restaurant closing, the taxes they pay, the people they employ. And it didn't touch on this, but when you think about it, one of the best things about New York is the diversity of the restaurants, the quality. I mean, New York has been famous for restaurants always. And that culture has already changed because there's been a dramatic reduction in the number of restaurants there are. And what's going to happen in the winter? You close the bars, you close the nightlife. What is the purpose of staying in New York? You can't socialize. Everybody's Zoom video to work and school, so why do you need to be here? It's a troubling concern. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to everybody about is that it really feels like there is a quickening happening right now. We've got the election coming up, and I've spoken a bit about some of the lawsuits that have faced Crowdsource the Truth. People that have been watching for the past couple of years know that there have been a variety of individuals who have attempted to sue me, and that is ongoing. There's a new lawsuit, and it's got to be careful how I talk about these things. If people have seen the Hollywood Reporter, you can see that the Television Academy has sued, according to the Hollywood Reporter, after the Emmy statuette is given coronavirus. I've blurred the image of the Emmy statuette to preserve its privacy or whatever. I don't want to be jammed up with more copyright infringements, but this article, people can go to the HollywoodReporter.com, or you can just Google Emmys Crowdsource the Truth and read the allegations. They're saying that I've diluted their trademark by using the image. I say it's a parody. People who watch Crowdsource the Truth know that I'm doing parodies all the time. It is a form of commentary. It's a protected form of commentary, actually, political speech, criticism. And in order for a parody to work, it must substantially represent, or resemble, I should say, the original work. Let's see if we can see the Empire State Building back there. Can you see it? Nah, I gotta be on the other side of the street. Anyway, so they're suing me. And this is where it gets real complicated because, these previous lawsuits from social engineers, basically bozos who set up situations that they try to entrap me in and then sue me for, this is different. Now I'm being sued by a pretty well funded organization that has a professional law firm behind them, and they've chosen, instead of suing Jason Goodman, to sue my corporation. Now, despite the fact that they took action against the Jason Goodman YouTube channel, they're going after the corporation, which a lot of people seem to feel is a strategic effort on their part, because in New York, a corporation cannot be defended by a pro se individual. It must be represented in court by an embarred lawyer. So what that means is the social engineers who have longed for my financial ruin are reveling in the news that I now have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a lawyer. And it's just sad. It's a waste of judicial resources. It's a waste of time, this ongoing lawsuit nonsense. I don't want to get too much into the details of this Emmys lawsuit because, again, it's... See, these guys are hooligans skateboarding on the sidewalk. You're not supposed to be skateboarding on the sidewalk. So they're troublemakers. Got a store for rent there. But yeah, so I got this problem now of yet another lawsuit and the need to hire an attorney. So what I've done is I have created a new sponsorship opportunity for Crowdsource the Truth. People can go to crowdsourcethetruth.com, and if you feel that these lawsuits are strategic lawsuits against public participation, basically slap lawsuits intended to stifle free speech, or for whatever reason, it's up to you. You can choose one of these unique new sponsorship opportunities that I'm calling the Crowdsource the Truth Counter Lawfare Fund. And I want to be very clear, this is not a 501c3. You're not making a contribution to anything. You're not making a donation to anything. It's not tax deductible. These are sponsorship opportunities where you, as a viewer, can choose to sponsor Crowdsource the Truth. And those sponsorship opportunities that I just showed are very high. I don't expect many people to do that, but if you are a millionaire or someone who is out there to whom these requested sponsorship opportunities are an inconsequential amount of money, and you feel like it would be a good way to help Crowdsource the Truth remain financially viable and continue producing videos and continue exposing the lawfare activity of certain individuals out there. I also want to be clear, lawfare is not illegal. It's also not even necessarily legally defined as to what it is, but I consider it the weaponization of the legal system, whether that's through criminal or civil action, and frankly, one can lead to the other. One of the major tricks these guys like is they get civil action going, and this was attempted many times during one of the lawsuits. They try to, get you to say or do something in the course of the pleadings that they can represent as perjury, or try to get you jammed up with sanctions where the court forces you to pay. Certainly the case in Virginia, I had to travel to Virginia several times, spend a ton of money. These guys are trying to wear me down, trying to use up my resources, and a lot of people email me, they ask how they can help. One of the ways that people can help is to become sponsors. And by the way, no one should feel compelled. I don't want anyone to spend a penny more than they would find to be completely disposable income. And I want to reiterate, it's not a tax-deductible donation. I try to discourage people from even using the word donation because it implies that something is tax deductible. I see a lot of people running 501c3s who seem to have no regard for the law. I want everybody to know, when somebody has a 501c3, a tax-exempt corporation, a charity like that, they're not paying taxes. So that means if you pay taxes, some of your money is going to supplement, to support, to pay for the business that they are conducting. So every single person who's paying taxes in the United States should be very concerned if there's somebody who has, let's say, a website where they're promoting their 501c3 and they have links to contribute money to their 501c3, and yet they're advocating for political candidates on YouTube and elsewhere. Now, this, I don't know if this is a chain, but this is a haircutting place. And I've been, years ago, I had my hair cut there once, and now it's closed. So, I mean, you know, those are mostly small businesses. And what are people going to do if there's nowhere to go to get your hair cut? That's no good. God, here's another place closed. I've been pretty much locked in the apartment all week, and I'm going to be out tomorrow with Charles. We'll be walking around and looking at some more of this stuff, but I just wanted to come out, share with people this updated crowdsourcethetruth.com webpage. If the Counter Lawfare Fund sponsorship tiers are too rich for your blood, which, believe me, I understand, those are big numbers. This is, as I said, if somebody is out there sitting on a mountain of money and they feel like, you know, bullies who want to bring lawsuits against people who are just trying to make YouTube shows should not be able to use their money to strong-arm people when the law and the facts are in their favor. If you feel that way, you could sponsor the show. Oh, and by the way, anybody who selects one of those sponsorship tiers is going to get a free 1-year subscription to subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth, where you're going to be able to view all of the sponsor-exclusive videos, growing library of videos on there. You're also going to get access to the Discord chat. As you move up the sponsorship tiers there's going to be a swag bag of fun stuff, personalized Crowdsource the Truth items that are going to be unique, that you can only get through the sponsorship in the Counter Lawfare Fund. And I hope that some people will get on board and sponsor that way. If those sponsorship tiers are too high, you can still go to patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and for as little as $2 a month, you can sponsor the show. This direct to viewer sponsorship, I think, upsets some people. And I'm not talking about the sponsors. Most of the people who sponsor the show love it. I get overwhelmingly, like 99% positive feedback from the sponsors, but I think the people who like the traditional model of giant corporations paying for ads and you watching TV for free and being bombarded with this propaganda to get you to buy poison food and whatever terrible products they're trying to sell to you, and in the case of pharmaceuticals and the oil industry and all these guys that might have some kind of global agenda, they're paying for the news. So the question you need to ask yourself is, does that have any kind of influence? And could there be some sort of larger institutional structure that rewards people who, you know, color within the lines and help promote the stories that they think are real news while crushing the stories that they categorize as fake news? It's unbelievable. This lawsuit that's spoken about in the Hollywood Reporter calls me a conspiracy theorist. Sorry. And the things that I'm talking about, we're looking at evidence. We're looking at facts. We're looking at, you know, statements made by government agencies and individuals. And this guy's like through the light, waiting to run people over here. Meanwhile, they're giving Emmy Awards to people who have spent the last 3.5 years telling you that Russia hacked and the DNC server got hacked, and we've seen no evidence of that. They're the conspiracy theorists. It's interesting how that works, isn't it? So we're back over here. The other thing I wanted to show everybody is there was an article somebody sent me in the Daily Mail saying that last night there was some kind of huge party going all hours in Washington Square Park. I mean, I imagine what's going on is you've got your NYU students are back and, you know, kind of waiting for school to begin, or maybe Friday night, they're just kind of like blowing off steam, meeting new people, hanging out in the park, and they're just commenting how there's no social distancing or whatever. I mean, it's just without fail. When there's a protest or a riot, nobody has anything to say. But when a bunch of people want to get together and have a nice time in the last few days of summer, that makes international news and is a shocking revelation to people. So I just wanted to kind of walk through Central Park and see, Washington Square Park, and just see if there's anything going on over there tonight, what the mood is like in the park. People can sort of see it's getting late, sun is setting. I am still a little bit concerned about spending too much time outside alone after dark, but I thought this would be a beautiful time of day to show people some of the sights, and I am kind of sad. Summer is ending, didn't get to the beach at all this year. Didn't really get to spend that much time enjoying the summer, period. I'm also a little sad that I didn't bring the extra phone for comments, because right now that would be kind of interesting. I feel like it's weird. Now there's kind of like more people wearing masks. Oh. Somebody tried to call me. I forgot to turn off the incoming call thing there. Here's some NYPD. It feels approximately like there's been less rioting and violence going on, but I gotta say, I've been whoa, there's a lot of NYPD activity over here. A lot of NYPD vehicles. So I guess they're thinking whatever was going on last night could be having a reprisal tonight, and I suppose they want to be ready. So let's see what's going on in the park. Well, it looks like they got a lot of light on the, maybe it's just the time of day. The arch looks very illuminated. This is kind of golden hour right now. Wonderful temperature. It's probably 70 right now, something like that. It's very sunny today during the day, but not too hot. You can see more restaurants down the street there. Yeah, I don't know. This looks like some kind of special lighting on the arch here today. People will remember I ran into Eric Schmidt just a couple weeks ago walking down Fifth Avenue over here. It does sound like there's a lot of music going in the park. And then, we also heard that Eric Schmidt is being somehow hired by Andrew Cuomo to do something. Why do we want Eric Schmidt to rebuild New York City? I guess that's what people were talking about with smart cities, Google smart cities. That doesn't sound so good. I don't like all these self-proclaimed super geniuses rearranging New York City. So far, everything they've done is terrible. Can people hear that? It does sound like there's something going on in the park. PA system or something like that. I guess those are the normal lights for the park. It just looks extra illuminated because the sun is starting to set. A lot of these electric bikes around now. So let's see what's going on in Washington Square Park here. They still can't get rid of the F12 graffiti, and these cops are still not stopping people from skateboarding in the park, even though it says no skateboarding in the park. So a way to, enforce anything. I don't know if I would call this a party. This just looks like regular park activity. Little kids walking, almost crashing into people, not looking where they're going, cops doing nothing. Those people just almost got crashed into. So let's see, wait a minute. There does seem to be a cluster of something happening over here. I mean, again, this is pretty much just regular park stuff. This is actually good to see. So they're upset about this because people, I guess, aren't social distancing. Yeah, this seems like a party starting. There we go, we got people dancing. But this is what happens when you lock people inside for months. Everybody's got a lot of steam to let off. Just want to hang out, have fun the last days and nights of the summer. So maybe kind of like an impromptu hip-hop capoeira style thing going on. It's nice to see people having fun, not fighting. Some weed burning around here. And everybody will remember the encounter in the fountain not that long ago. I mean, this is nice. This is really what people should be allowed to do during the summertime. So what does the Daily Mail want to be done? I mean, this is people enjoying the park. See, but that's an interesting thing, is the guy walking around with the water is just randomly giving them out to people. I don't understand that. Is this an organized thing? Are they trying to agitate something? Hard to say. Seems nice. So wait a minute, this guy's got a rat on a typewriter. Why do you have the rat on the typewriter?
Mascot.
Got it. Are you writing something, or?
Yeah. People tell me a theme or topic.
Uh-huh.
I write a poem about it.
Wow. So you're sort of like, people can come to the park and do they pay you and get a poem? Is that the idea? Cool. Well, I don't have any money on me right now, but good luck, and people should come to the park and get a poem written by the typewriter with the rat on it. That's interesting. I haven't even seen a typewriter like that in a long time. So this is what the park is usually like. People just hanging out, having fun, doing stuff like that. Put a rat on a typewriter and come on out and just enjoy the evening. Good way to socialize. Oh yeah, there's another really important thing. So the police are out. I mean, this is cool. This is how the park is supposed to work. So this is good. This is the park somewhat returning to normal. You got a guy juggling. Always very popular. People hanging out. Right, so the important thing that I wanted to get into, when the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences initiated this action against me, they first put a strike on a YouTube video. They filed a complaint about the John Cullen, I think it was called the Cullen Awards, or it might have been called the Crony Awards. We referred to the Crony virus, and we were giving out Crony Awards. But they struck that video, and it's been removed. Now, it's still present in a few other places. People can see it on Facebook, and there were a couple of other places they wanted it taken down from, which I am amenable to doing, and actually tried to negotiate with them, but they seem more interested in suing me than actually removing the allegedly objectionable parody. But this John Cullen video, I was watching it, and it's interesting because John is telling me about a video that he had made. This was back in June. John had just made a video that while he was uploading it to YouTube, which was taking hours, before it was published on YouTube, it got a copyright strike. But they didn't freeze John's channel. They said that they were going to edit out or blur out or do something to change John's video to get rid of the objectionable part, the copyright infringement. And John was explaining to me in our Crony video that it was something to do with the FBI arresting some guy, and he didn't understand where the copyright complaint was coming from or why it was removed. But I showed the page showing the removal of the video that showed an image from the video, and I said to John, am I in danger of having this video removed? And he says no, and then boom, the live stream cut. And so only 9 minutes of video made it onto YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the other places where it was going. And that was weird. So I went back to the archives of where I have the thing stored, and I was watching it, and there was about 5 additional minutes where John and I are talking to each other, and then his Skype feed starts getting screwed up, and then I realized that the video had cut and I ended it. But there's something very strange going on here, because there's something about even talking about that video. Maybe it's a coincidence, but John's video got a copyright strike. The video where we're talking about him getting a copyright strike got a copyright strike, and the feed cut. I'm going to have to figure out what it was that we were talking about. Everybody who tells me to get onto BitChute, you know, Crowdsource the Truth has been on BitChute for like 2 years. So if you're telling me to get on there and you don't realize that we're on there, just be aware that people who don't look at BitChute are definitely not going to see us on there. So you can still see that video on BitChute and Facebook. There's a long list of places they want me to take it down from. But take a look at that video. And if anybody knows, we're going to also examine this video that John was talking about that got removed. So there's a get to meet people while street dining. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of restaurants here that don't have anybody sitting outside them. But I'm going to continue to work with John and talk to him and try and figure out what it was about that initial video that was so objectionable to YouTube that anybody talking about it, thinking about it, or whatever gets copyright struck. And we'll see what develops with this Emmy lawsuit. I'll just remind everybody they can visit crowdsourcethetruth.com. You can help me in the counter lawfare effort. There's a new sponsorship opportunity with the Counter Lawfare Fund. This is not an offer of equity. This is not a charitable donation. You are purchasing a sponsorship opportunity. You become a sponsor of Crowdsource the Truth. And there are a variety of thank you gifts for these levels of sponsorship. Anybody who sponsors and gets on board with one of these Counter Lawfare Fund tiers is going to get a free 1-year subscription to Crowdsource the Truth on Subscribestar. And you're going to have access to all the sponsor exclusive videos, as well as Discord chat and a lot of other great stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with Charles. It was nice to see what was going on in the park over there, but it is getting kind of late and wild over here. So I will see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for watching.